Okay, so this song is Already Getting Better by William Murphy. It's in the key of C major. This is one of those songs that doesn't have a lot of chords in it, and there's many different ways that you can kind of branch out and kind of express yourself. And one of those songs that I feel like if you're not playing this in your worship service already, it's a good one to add because it's a very, very powerful song. It can get a lot of movement and stuff in the church. So we will get started. It's in the key of C major, like I said. So we're going to get started with the scale and the number system, and then we will go over it. So I'll turn the strings off for now. C is the 1. D is the 2. E is the 3. F is the 4. G is the 5. A is the 6, B is the 7, and then you're back at the 1. And we're also going to be going to the flat 7 a lot, okay, which is B flat. That's the flat 7, B flat. We're going to be going to that key quite a bit, so I figured I'll throw it in there. All right, so the song starts off on the 1, and it's a major chord that you're going to play over the 1, okay? So no matter what key you play it in, there's going to be some type of a major chord. So one way that you can start it off is you'll hear something like this in the very beginning. With this little lick. So you can just go straight to a C major chord if you would like, which is C, C, E, G. That's C in the left, C, E, G in the right. You can go straight to that in any inversion. Or you can do the lick that they did in the very beginning. All right. So if you want that lick, it's the 5, which is G, the 6, which is A, the 1, which is C, the 2, which is D, and then the 3, which is E. But what you'll do is your grace note going from the D to the D sharp, then you hit the E. So it's a roll. D, D sharp, E. Whenever you're hitting that E. So like that. G, A, C, D, grace note going up to the E. Okay, that little roll right there. All right, so it starts off on the 1. Now, if you want to voice it like this, you can do C and G in the left hand. And you got some type of a C major chord in the right. That can be a C major 9 if you want. Like I already showed you the basic one. This, root position C major. You can add the 9 if you would like in there. So C, D, E, G. And that's over the 1. I wouldn't really add the 7 because it doesn't really fit. But you can do the C major add 9, even if you want to do it in this inversion, which is G, C, D, E. And this is also one of those chords that you can kind of sprinkle up. Technically, you can sprinkle up the just G, C, E as well, which is just a different inversion of the C major chord, C, E, G. You can play it like G, C, E, and kind of sprinkle it. When I say sprinkle, I'm talking about just arpeggiating. Or you can add that D in there, which is the 9. A lot of the times you'll see people do like, I messed it up, but yeah, you'll see people do that little sprinkle up the keyboard. I keep on messing it up. You see people do that all the time, but so it's already, that's over the 1. And here I'm choosing to do C, D, E, G. One more thing I'm gonna show you on this one is you can do this chord as well. G, C, D, E, and G. And that's over the 1. But see how full that sounds. Okay, so another thing, C, G, or C, G, and D in the left with any of those chords that I showed you on the right. It's already, you can do that as well, okay? Getting better, it's already. Now, here's where I say we're gonna go to the flat 7. So it goes from the 1 to the flat 7. Now, over the flat 7, you can choose any of those chords that I just showed you on the right. So C, E, G, C, D, E, G, G, C, D, E, G. You can do any of those chords over the B flat, which is the flat 7. So 1 major. In your right hand, you keep this. You can keep that chord and go to the flat 7. Or just C, E, G. It's already getting better. It's already. Now we just went to the B flat, C, E, G. Getting easier. Technically, you can play this same exact chord over the right. In your right hand over the 4, because that's where we're going next. The song progression, if I didn't say it, goes from the 1, flat 7, 4, 6, 2, 3, 4. Then back to the 1. And then it just repeats that throughout the whole song. And sometimes instead of going to this 2, 3, 4, it'll go 2, 3, 5. Or it may not do that, but I do that. And I'll show you why later. But so, basic chords, you got C, E, G in your right hand over C. That's the 1. And then C, E, G in the right hand over the flat 7, which is B flat. Then C, E, G, if you want, over the 4. Then, technically, when you go to the 6, you can keep the same chord in your right. Now, when you go to the 2, you don't want to keep that C major. You want to go some type of an F major chord in your right hand, and that's going to be over the D. So it's really going to be a D minor 7 that you're going to be playing, okay? And that's over the 2. So it's already getting better. It's already getting easier. God's already moving on your behalf. Now notice when we went to the 2 in the left hand, we went to the 4 in our right hand and played a 4 major chord. So if you want to transport it to another key, it'll be, you know, like D flat. This is the 2, and you got the 4 major chord in your left hand. Okay? If you're an E, you got the 2 in your left hand, 4 major chord in the right. Okay? We'll just go back to C. I was just showing you how to transpose it. So it's already getting. Remember the sprinkles? It's already. And I'll show you those little things here in just a little bit. God's already moving on your behalf. So, 1, flat 7, to the 4, to the 6, 2, 3, 4, and it's a push. 2, 3, 4, or 2, 3, 5. Now, if you notice, I changed the chords quite a bit when I did that. But so we got 1. When I've already shown you this chord, you can choose those same chords that I taught you over the 1, over the flat 7. Where there's that, where there's that, where there's that. I wouldn't do a 7th. That doesn't work, right? That's over flat 7. Now when you get to the 4, you can do some type of a C major chord, like I said, C, E, G, or the C major at 9, C, D, E, G, over the 4. You can also do this, which I have the 4 in my left hand. I got the 6, the 1, the 2, and the 5. 6, 1, 2, 5. That's A, C, D, and G. A, C, D. Oh, sorry. A, C, D, and G, yeah. You can also add this E in there as well. Or you can omit certain notes. Like if you want it to sound like really open like that, you can do this, where I omitted the D. If you want it to sound really open, you can do that. But you can also do this chord over the 4, which is A, D, E, and A. So what I would do is write down these voicings that I'm showing you. You can always pause, you can always rewind it, you can always go back and rewatch it. Just rewind it a little bit just to catch these voicings. But there's many different things that you can do. You can even just play F with an F major chord. F in the left hand and an F major chord. F, A, C. That's F in the left hand, F, A, C. You can also play F, G, A, C. Over the 4. You can also add another C down here. So F, C in the left hand, and then F, G, A, C in the right. Just different options that you can use. But all in all, you're going to go 1 to the flat 7, to the 4. Now you're going to go to the 6. You can use this chord if you want, or a diminished chord if you want, or just an A minor 7. You know. So a couple different options you can choose. So you got the 4, and then from the 4 we're going to go to the 6. So here I'll show you a diminished over the 6, because I showed you that you can just play the C major chord in root position or any inversion, right? You can play C, E, G. You can put this C on top and play E, G, C. You can play G, C, E, whatever inversion of the C major chord you want to play. It's just a C major chord. You can play that over A. You can play a diminished. Okay, so if you wanted that sound and you want it to sound diminished, you can play A and E in the left, or just A. And then you have G, B flat, D flat, and E. That's G, B flat, D flat, and E. Like I said, if you want to add this E in your left hand, you can do that too. So you got, and it's already getting better. It's already getting easier. This is the 4, God already moving on your. Here's that passing tone over the 6. So 6, the 6 is the passing tone, by the way. There's the diminished, or if you want it to sound like that, A, E, G, B flat, D flat, and E. And any inversion, remember the inversions. You can change the way the chord sounds and go here just by changing the inversion. So God's already moving on your behalf, right? Or God's already moving on your behalf. Or God's already moving on your behalf. Just changing the inversion of that diminished. Rearranging the notes. If you're playing it like this, G, B flat, D flat, and E, then try it with this G on the top of the chord instead of being on the bottom. So then it'll change to B flat, D flat, E, and then you'll be playing the G up there. If that doesn't sound like something you want to play, invert it again. So you got, right now you're playing B flat on the bottom. Let's play the B flat on the top. So you got D flat, E, G, B flat. And that's over the 6, right? So just change the inversions and it'll change the way that it sounds. So 1, flat 7, 4, 6. Now you can also just play a G major chord or a 5 major chord over the 6 as well, if you want. So that's, so far you have some type of a C major chord, no matter what type of quantity you choose, quantity you choose, whether it's a C major 9 or whether it's just a regular C major, you can do either one of those. But you can also do, and that's over the 6. So you can do that C major over the 6. Or you can do the diminished. Or you can do some type of a 5. Now this chord doesn't really work. I mean, it does, but I wouldn't pick this one, to be honest. But you can do it. It's some type of a G major chord over the 6. Let's see how it sounds with it. So it's already getting better. It's already getting easier. God's already moving on your, see? Moving on your behalf. Okay, so after the 6, no matter which one of those 6 chords you choose, you're gonna go to the 2. And like I said, I've already given you this chord over the 2. It's some type of an F major chord in the right over the 2. That's one way to look at it. It's a D minor 7 if you want it to be. But, okay. So this is D minor. Right there. It's actually a D minor 7. Sorry. Man. That's a D minor 7. And then I'm also adding in this 11. 11 because you're adding the 4th tone of D. So you can do that as well. And then I'm just choosing to voice it like this. D, A, and D in the left hand with F, G, A, C in the right. Or you can even do like that. So F, A, D in the left, F and G with your thumb in the right, A, C, D, E if you want, depending on how full you want it to sound, okay? Or you can, like I said, to make it, instead of doing all these notes, making it sound super, like, thick, you can just play D in the left hand, F, A, C in the right. Or you can add any of the notes that you have in an F major chord, like a super thick F major chord or something that you would play over F major. You can add that to the 2 as well, okay? So you got 1 to the flat 7, to the 4, to the 6, and that's the 2. Now from there, from the 2, you're gonna go to the 3. And over the 3, you're gonna play some type of a G major chord or 5 major chord. So you got the 3 in your left hand and some type of a 5 major chord. And the reason why I'm saying some type of a chord is because you can change it. As long as it's a G major chord and you're right, you can play a basic root position. You can play first inversion G major or second inversion G major. You can add the 9 of G major, which is going to be that A. And if you don't know as to why that's a 9, they teach it a lot in the Gospel Music Training Center. But whenever you're on a particular tone, so let's just say I was actually like on the 5. Let's say I was on the 5. I would be looking at this chord as if I was in the key of G major. So when I'm calling out notes specific to that chord, you have to temporarily think about it like you're in that key. So if I'm on G major, then when I'm adding notes, I'm thinking about the G major scale. So I'm thinking about my 1 being G, my 2 being A, my 3 being B, my 4 being C, the 5 being D, the 6 being E, the 7 being F sharp, and then G, back at the 1. So when I add the 9, I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the key of G flat. In order to figure out this G major add 9, I'm adding the 9 from the G major scale, not the C major scale. Because the C major scale, the 9 is D. But I'm thinking about it in terms of the G major scale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then earlier I said something about adding, like playing a F major 11. Well, right now we're on the 9. Well, let's go to F. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Or was I in? I don't know. I don't remember what key I was doing it on. But anyways, I said an 11, which is going to be the same as the 4 of whatever note that you're on. The 4 and the 11 are the same things. Okay? Hope I didn't confuse you there. But I was just showing you as to why I'm calling this a G major add 9, and I'm not, necessarily talking about the D. It's because okay, so I might have been on, here, let me just go back so you can see where I am. So we started on the 1, then we went to the flat 7, then we went to the 4, then we went to the 6, then we went to the 2, now we went to the 3. Okay, and when I was looking at the 3 with this E, B, and E, or just E in the left hand, I was looking at this chord that's in my right. And I was looking at this as a G major 9, where I added the 9, which is A. That's where I was. So G, A, B, and D is the 9 of G. But when you put it with the left hand, it actually makes a E minor with the added 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. E minor 11. But the chord, just to spell it out, you got E in the left hand, and you have G, B, D in the right. And if you want to add the A, like I said, G, A, B, D in the right. So once again, 1, where you're playing a C major over the 1. Then you go to the flat 7, and you got a C major over the flat 7, which is B. And then you got a 4 chord, which is some type of a 4 major 7, which you can look at it as a C major over the 4. And then we went to the 6, and we played a diminished, or some type of a C major over the 6. Then we went to the 2, played a D minor 7 with a D minor 11, actually. Then we took that same type of chord and went to the 3, which is, so you got D in the left hand, F, G, A, C over the 2. Over the 3, you got 3, 5, 6. Sorry, let me just spell it with the words, with the letters. E in the left hand, G, A, B, and D in the right. And then you're back on the 4 chord. Okay? 4 chord, you got F in the left, A, C, D, and G. can go back to the 5 if you want, which is G, F, A, C. The 2 notes you can add to fill it up a little bit is D in the left hand, and then this G in the right hand. So that's G, D, F, G, A, and C. Or, like I said, take those out. And that's before you go back to the 1. Okay? So, it's already getting better. It's already getting easier. God's already moving on your behalf. And whenever I play the song, I actually go to the 5. So I go straight to the 5 instead of going to this 4. But I'm pretty sure on the record it goes to the 4. And over the 4, like I said, you can do some type of a C major chord as well. And then you're back at the 1. And that's pretty much the whole song. Now here's the way I've voiced it over the flat 7. I did B flat and F in my right, I'm in my left. In my right hand, C, D, G, which is basically looking at it in my right hand, it's like a sus 2. A C sus 2, where you suspend it. So instead of doing C, E, G, it's called suspended when you take this E and you take it to the 2. You got the 1, the 2, and the 5 in your right hand. This is over B flat, so I know it changes the chord, but I'm talking about in my right hand. I'm looking at it like it's a C sus 2 in my right, played over B flat. You hear this? You hear that type of stuff a lot in the song. So just to give you that real fast, that's you're actually going to be playing an E and a G. In a nutshell, that's what that is. E and G. But a lot of the times what you'll hear is you'll hear a grace note going from the D. So you hit the D first, and then you hit the E and the G. Or you can go grace note off the D. So you're actually going to hit the G at the same time. So instead of going, you're actually going to hit the D and the G at the same time. And then you're just going to switch this finger to the E. And then you're going to hit the D again, and then C. Like that. So, it's already getting better. It's already... Okay? Something you can do. And the way that I voiced that flat 7 on this time, I did B flat in the left, F in the left, and A in the left while I was doing that. Whoops. Whoops. Man. So, I guess another thing that you can do when you're doing that little rundown, I just showed you that. Now you can go where you kind of like the same type of trick, but you do it over the G and the C. We go from G to A, just like we went from the D to the E. With this one, you go G to the A. And then you got your C in there as well. So. G and C at the same time. And then you switch that note from G to A. And then you still got that C in your right hand too, because you're holding it. You got the C in this one, and and then you're holding that C going to that A. So you start on D. Okay, so, and it's already getting better. It's already, see? Play it down here. Okay, like that. Now you can go to that 4. Moving on your behalf. That's another thing you can do when you're over the 5. So you go to the 5 after you do that 2, 3, 4 to the 5, or just, you know, 2, 3, 5. You can do this little movement, which is going from, in your right hand, you got C, F, A. So in my left hand, I got the 5, which is G. Just the 5 if you want, or you can do the G, D, G in your left hand. And then, all in all, what you're basically going to do is you're going to play some type of an F major chord, and then it's going to go to a E major chord. So you're going to do a 4 major chord and go down to a 3 major chord. Not minor, major, and that's over the 5. And that's a little passing tone that you can do to get back to the 1. Some type of the major chord over the C. Okay? So that's, or whatever inversion you choose to do. And when I do this one, I actually just grace note off of the F sharp. So hit the F sharp in your right hand when you're doing this 5 chord, or just the 5. It's a good little sweet way to get back to the 1. Okay, I'm doing B, E, A flat. If I didn't tell you, the first part is C, F, A, which is a second inversion F major chord. C, F, A. And you take that chord down to the E major chord, which is B, E, A flat. But you grace note off of this G flat or F sharp. So right before you hit it, you hit the F sharp. You can do movements, little bitty movements like that. So if you want to do that little movement, you got B, B flat, A to the G. And that's, you're gonna, so after you do that B, B flat, A, G, you kind of walk back up to the B from the A. So you go A, B flat to the B. Like that. Then you go to the G, and you go to the A. And that's all over the 1. And I kind of, when I went back to the A, I kind of walked up to it using a little roll going from the G, A flat to the A. So. And you can do that same concept that I showed you up here. When we did there's a song that does that, but I can't remember what it is. You can use that same concept, continuing to descend down the scale for like a real pretty run, you know? So you can do like a C major in your left hand. got that other thing, so sorry. But I'm messing it up, but hopefully you get what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to do. So it's like that kind of mixes the two things that I showed you together. Okay, it's just a matter of practicing. Okay, just mixing those two things together, and it sounds really pretty when you do it and not messing up like me. Another thing that you can do, instead of doing that passing chord type of alteration over the 5, you can just kind of like walk up from the 6 to the 7 to the 1. So sorry about that. So let me show you where that is. So you got already getting better, getting easier, God's already moving on your behalf. And you walk up from the 6, 7, 1. 6, 7, 1. So if you want that over the 6, you got A in your left hand, G, A, and C in your right. That's G, A, and C in the right, and that's over the 6, which is A. Numbers wise, you got 5, 6, 1 in your right. You're gonna take this up a whole step to the 7. So you got B in your left hand, you got the 6, the 7, and the 2 in the right, which is A, B, and D. And then you got a C major chord. Some type of, you can do sus, you can do C major 9, like I said, any of those chords that I showed you at the very beginning. So very pretty song, very easy song. One of those ones that I feel like you can add to your repertoire very quickly, and kind of expand and kind of take this even further than what I'm showing you here. There's so many different voicings and passing tones and things you can use, but hopefully this will get you started. I'm gonna play it one more time and then we're gonna get out of here.